What is up, everybody? We are back from the truck studios. Love it or hate it, this is where we're going to do the darn thing. And today I'm going to talk about probably one of the most personal stories and situations that I've ever talked about on this YouTube channel. It's a subject that got brought up and I was asked about in the comments of one of my OCD videos, and it's one that I don't even know if I'm ready to talk about, but that's what this channel is about. It's about authenticity. It's about helping other people that may be going through the same thing. So I'm gonna put it all out there, and today I'm gonna talk about OCD and how it can relate to body dysmorphia. Now, you need to cut me some slack because I don't have all of the experience in terms of therapy to get everything perfectly correct on all the things I'm saying about this subject. So this is just going to be my experience with it. So when I was about 19 years old, I was working for a body shop, and I was coming back from lunch, and I kind of just like looked down at myself here, and I saw just a small little roll of fat in my stomach, which it doesn't matter really what your size is. If you sit in that position, you're probably going to have some rolls. Now, I'm not a big guy by any means. I have a small frame. I think the heaviest I've ever been right now, and it's 160 pounds. So I'm not a big guy, but pre-puberty, I was really short, and there was a period where I grew this way before I grew this way. And some of that period was in high school, the first couple of years of high school. About junior year is when I sprouted up. So I was always a little bit insecure of my body back then. A lot of the other boys were just shaped differently. They had gone through puberty entirely, and they just looked a lot different than me. So that could have played into what happened later in life. So I'm driving back to work, and I look down and I see this little roll. And at this time in my life, I'm self-medicating for OCD and anxiety. I'm doing all of the wrong things to deal with my anxiety and my OCD. So I noticed a little fat roll, and all day for the rest of the day, I was kind of like pinching myself, like just trying to evaluate, how much body fat I had. And from that point forward, for the next, let's just say I was 19. So for the next 2 years, I was very focused on my weight. I was very focused on what I ate. And for a period of time, I went through dealing with some bulimia because I was trying to alter the way I looked, and I got really, really unhealthy. I got, very close to death, and I was able to find the strength enough one day to, just come to my knees and ask for help. And my parents had really known something was really wrong for a long time. Now, they've been dealing with a child who has OCD since the age of like 6 to 9. I was diagnosed with it. I started seeing a therapist at around 6, and they didn't really diagnose me until about 9. And so they were familiar with it, and they didn't really understand exactly what was going on, but there was the signs of what was happening, and they were really scared for my life. And by the grace of God, I got the last spot in this in treatment. It's a place called Milestones on the other coast of Florida, on the East Coast. And I signed up for 4 weeks of inpatient treatment, where I learned to deal with anorexia and bulimia. We didn't deal so much with the OCD or anxiety. Well, it was dual diagnosis, but they really didn't tie it into how the OCD was affecting this and really driving this for me. So I stayed in the treatment for 4 weeks, and I was super engulfed in it. I said, hey, I'm here. I'm going to make the change. Like, once I decide to do something, I'm going to do it. And I really started to enjoy eating again. I learned a healthy way of eating, and I was really loving it there. But the therapists who knew more than me, they could see kind of through all my willingness to do everything. You know, at some point they're like, you know, you're not really gaining the weight we want, so we want you to start drinking this protein shake as well. And normally people are kicking and screaming about that because they want to eat the least amount they can. And I was like, oh, this is great. You know, give me one in the morning, give me one at night. I loved it, but the whole time I was working out a lot. That would be my thing. I'd do my reading, and then I'd go to the gym, to the point where they had to tell me, you know, hey, you can't go to the gym this much. It's feeding this obsession. So I get through the 4 weeks, and they really are trying to get me to stay longer. So they offer me a free whole nother week. All I had to do was pay for my food. So I didn't want to squander, you know, all the money my parents had put out to get me here. And so I agreed to one more week, and that place saved my life, you know, without a shadow of a doubt. If I would have continued on the way that I was going for even another month, who knows what could have happened. When I got there, they ran some tests, and I had no more fluid around the organs in my body. I was extremely dehydrated, to the point of my body had started to take the fluids from around my organs, and it was a very dangerous situation. So I get out of therapy, and, you know, in the beginning it's really easy, but as you get out of the pattern of eating in the way that they were teaching us to eat, it's easy to fall back into those things. But it was around that time that I started to really work on my OCD and anxiety, and really see how the OCD was really driving this. And I just had got to a point where I had gone through a lot of issues because of this. I had caused my family a lot of pain and suffering. I caused myself a lot of physical pain and suffering because of this situation that I found myself in. And I decided that, you know, I wasn't going to act on these feelings anymore. I was going to really put myself in front of any fear, anxiety, or insecurity that I had. And by the grace of God, I've never gone back to it. And at this point in my life, you know, my OCD has transitioned, and realized that when it spikes me about these things, I don't pay any attention to them. That's the thing that we're always talking about on here, right? It's when these spikes happen, what you do is you do nothing about them. You just let them be there. You accept them. You say, hey, okay, cool, maybe, but I'm not going to do anything about this, because I'm going to show the brain that there's no danger here. So whenever I would start to have anxiety, or get a eat something and get a trigger, like, hey man, like, you're going to become super big and fat because you ate that, like, you need to go get rid of it. I'll say, no, you know, I've caused my family and myself so much, like, physical pain. You know, I was dealing with oral teeth issues, just everything you can imagine because of it. And I just decided that, honestly, like, I'd rather be fat than dead, you know. And that helped me a lot. And it you know, God has a weight for you, you know, like you're, now we need to be healthy, we need to exercise, but you're going to be where you're going to be, and you're going to be shaped the way you're supposed to be shaped. And, you know, this is very personal. It's kind of hard to talk about. I'm thinking about right now deleting this video. It's just so personal, but, I'm going to keep it up. And, you know, I worked through those things, and this was just a small, like, part of body dysmorphia. It can be much more, extreme than that, but it was kind of my experience with it. And, you know, thank God that I had family and friends, and I got into the Milestones program, and I was able to work through it. So I just want to put that word out there to anybody that's maybe struggling with this, is you're playing a very dangerous game, and sometimes there's no coming back from it. And you can do all sorts of things to make you feel better about yourself rather than self-destructive behavior. So I just want to express the fact that we have to recognize, you know, what are these feelings that I'm feeling? Is there actual danger here? And 9 times out of 10 with OCD and anxiety, there is no danger there. And, you know, thank God every day that I don't deal with that anymore. I have a very healthy relationship with food. I have a very healthy relationship with exercise. That was just a small, very short chapter of my OCD and anxiety journey. And the book had the page has been changed on that chapter, and thank goodness I don't deal with a lot of that anymore. But I just wanted to put that out there for anybody who could be struggling with that, and just try to encourage you that, you're beautiful the way that you are, and not to let these OCD and anxiety things drive you to where you can cause yourself a lot of harm. So I hope this helps somebody. Like always, like this video so other people can find it. Leave me some comments on some ways that you've dealt with dealing with maybe body dysmorphia or something similar to that. And like always, hit that subscribe button. When we get to 500 subscribers, I will get out in my community and donate another $100 to an organization that I feel does good. I really love this small family counseling center on Bonita Beach Road. It's teeny, it's run down, you can tell they don't have a ton of funding, and they've got $200 from me. I gave them $100 back to back, so I really love that place. They'll probably win the $100 donation, but you guys have to get out there, you have to subscribe. I hope this helps somebody. Have a great day.